Howdy there.
Hello.
Welcome back to Outside the Cinema.
Yeah, we're still
Your host.
We're still doing this.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I can't hear you when you're not talking into your mic.
Okay, how's that?
That's better. That's
Okay,
better.
good.
I can see your mouth moving.
It doesn't matter. Nothing I say is important, so it's fine.
There's a couple things in episode.
I mean, like maybe twice a year I get a good zinger in there, but
That's fair.
you know,
Maybe this will be one of those days. These episodes. Then maybe you know.
yeah, no,
You never
probably
know.
not.
Anyway, speaking of never knowing, you never know what we're gonna get when we go into the Patreon picks. But this week, did we announce it? I think we announced it on last week's show that we were gonna be.
You said
doing...
one of them, and then I don't know if you said the other one.
All right, so Donnie's pick of Nosferatu, the 1922 Morneau flick, is one of them, and then the other one is Almost Human, which is a Thomas Milian, Henry Silva Italian Polizia, directed by Lucia. Of course, now I'm not going to remember it. Umberto Lenzi was the one that he's a very prolific Italian director, but like for some reason he's the one that always like I leave out of the conversation when I talk about different like it's Argento and it's Martino and it's
Well, I
these
mean,
guys.
did all he do was direct mediocre crap like this?
No,
Maybe if that's the case, then yeah, it's a good thing you forget him because the 60% of Polizia movies are boring. Yeah, you come swinging for Fright Night, I'm gonna come back. Whole genre, I don't really give a shit. I don't care.
Yes, so Almost Human or Milano Odario La Polizia non può square. I won't say that again. It's Almost Human from this point on.
I don't think you could say it again the same way.
Probably not. So I want to thank Donnie, and we want to thank Howard, who picked Almost Human. So,
That's such a bad title for that movie. Almost
I don't
Human.
know.
What?
I don't know.
Is it
man.
about aliens? No, shut the fuck up.
I don't know. It's probably because it's got so much up, dog.
Yeah. Shut up, Colin.
There's a kid on one of the baseball teams that I help coach. His name is Colin Robinson.
Oh, shit, no way.
Yeah.
If you had told us, I could have got Rip to be there with a sign cheering him on. She would have loved
maybe in the fall. You never know. You never know. So Patreon picks. If you would like to have Patreon picks for the show, sign up for it. I mean, just sign up for it.
Yeah.
Go to patreon.com/outsidethecinema. $5 monthly donation. $5 plus monthly. Whoa. Okay. Yes. God damn it.
What's happening?
How?
Did they contact you about your car's extended warranty?
I don't. Every time there's a friggin' iOS update, I have to go back in and shut off like all of the different notifications because every time it goes through, it will reset everything.
Oh,
And it's so frustrating.
I have no notifications set. That might be why I never know what the fuck is going on. But still, I don't have stuff bothering me.
I don't want to have any set, but for some reason, it always seems to happen.
Mine always hits me with, you can complete your rings, and it's usually about 2 hours after I woke up while I'm driving to work. I'm like, now is not the time, watch. Can't you fucking tell I'm moving at 60 miles an hour?
Speaking of Apple Watches, my Apple Watch has given me quite the look for the summer, as you can see here.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we call the coach's tan.
That
Damn
is
it,
definitely.
no!
Yeah. Now what?
No, it's the same thing. I can't go in and shut the stuff off now. It's a beautiful picture of my wife and son who are at a water park, but I'm here with you.
Hey. That was your choice this time.
Fair enough. Because I had baseball yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, so he gets to play baseball and go to the water park?
You were talking
That's some
about kids?
bullshit.
With that episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I showed you that picture, said we should do this. I thought you were talking about the water park, not kids.
Or Always Sunny. After 10 minutes, this whole place is just a urine delivery system.
What else is going on, man? I'm trying to think of things. I feel like we haven't caught people up with what's going on recently.
I think the interesting
there's not
thing,
a lot, but
no, the interesting news thing is how well Shin Ultraman's doing in Japan. It's just killing. People love it.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't. There's a new Ultraman?
Yeah, Hideaki Anno made Shin Ultraman after Shin Godzilla.
Okay, I didn't know
It looks awesome, and it's doing really well, and people love it. So I'm just waiting to be able to buy my copy because I want to fucking see it.
Okay.
That's some good news. And they're
That is
rebooting
some
Max
good news.
Headroom with Matt Frewer, so that's good news too.
Also good news.
I think Max Headroom is one of the few shows you actually could reboot and have it make sense, right? Because computers. So
I mean, I guess it depends. It depends on who's rebooting it.
yeah,
And
usually
what
the
they're-
guy
what
that
they're
can
doing
reach
with
the
it.
power switch. Other than that, a lot of bullshit in the world.
Did you see the face I just made at you when you made that power switch joke?
No, but I can imagine it. I know that face very well.
Yeah. There was some eye rolling and some.
Yep. That tracks.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I watched. What did I watch? I finally got around to watching Scream the other day. It was okay.
Yeah, I
was
think I
fine.
stopped at what number is that? 5? Because I don't think I saw 4.
I don't know. It came
And I
out, so
didn't
it's
watch-
the new one. So.
I didn't watch the TV series either, so
Me either. But it was fine. It wasn't.
yeah.
You know, it was better than the last couple. I'd say probably.
yeah, because I
Um,
remember 3 was not received well.
And 4 was not received well either.
Yeah.
So this was all right. It kind of went
Okay.
back to the tried and true. Like I remember when Joe talked about it when he was doing his segment, and you know he was right where they kind of went back to the original well, and worked off of it, and it worked. It worked fairly well. It worked fairly
Okay.
well. Yeah, I watched that. I watched that new documentary on Netflix, The Most Hated Man on the Internet, about the guy that was that did the revenge porn site.
Oh yeah,
That was
yeah.
pretty good. That was
Yeah.
pretty good. It was done well. I like
Did
that.
somebody kill him? Is he dead? Because he should be.
No, he's in jail. He's in
Oh,
jail.
okay.
Well, I don't know if he's still in jail. He did go to jail.
Mm.
What else have I watched recently? I feel like I feel like I've watched some stuff.
I've been going through, the series that are wrapping up the season in this last month, so I'm just
right.
doing that. And not
Oh,
a
you know what
whole-
you know what else I watched?
Huh.
Was the Gwar documentary on Shudder.
Oh, okay. I never got into Gwar.
I was never a big Gwar guy either. I saw them a couple times through the years. And the documentary is fine. It's too long.
Mm.
It's like I think a little over 2 hours if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And it's interesting because I feel like there's a large amount of stuff that is left out or that they just chose not to talk about.
Okay. All right.
It's weird because Dave Brockie, was the only original member of Gwar still playing as far as I know.
Hmm.
And then when he did, and he died, and they get into when he died and stuff, but it just all feels very. It's like it takes him forever to get there, and then it just feels like they rush through everything.
Oh.
I was interested by the fact that Adam Green only shows up once.
I was going to
thought
ask
he
you how
would've
many times he was
all
in it.
over
I'm not making fun of him.
No,
but
no,
he
no,
was
I-
very
no, 'cause
closely
I said the same thing.
associated with the band. Yeah.
No, he has one quote in the entire movie. His face
Wow.
shows up once, and they don't even mention Brockie being on Holliston, which I thought was
That
bizarre.
feels like just a failure
slight.
of information.
It feels-
yeah.
well. I don't say failure. I think it's I mean, they interviewed Adam, obviously.
Yeah.
I think it seemed like a purposeful slight. Like they chose to not include it.
Huh. Because it wasn't the
I don't
band,
know.
it was just the person.
But they talked about it a lot too. About him a lot. Scott.
No,
Barnard
I
was-
mean it was more of a solo thing away from the band, right? Than it was.
Yeah, but he was the band though. That's the thing.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. That's,
okay. So he's the guy that directed is the guy that directed that the Orange Years, the Nickelodeon story.
Oh, I saw that pop up the other day. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it actually.
I don't really want to watch a documentary that I know is gonna lead to child grooming and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how dark that's gonna get, but one of the main guys with Nickelodeon back then was a huge
Oh yeah, Dan Schneider was a
fucking
scumbag and a half.
pedophile. Yeah,
Scumbag and a half doesn't even begin to explain it.
yeah. See, it's weird. Like I'll watch something like Don't Fuck with Cats, but if it's something with kids and stuff, I have a hard time with that. I just don't want to, you know. I just
No,
can't
I get
bring
it.
myself to it.
I get it 100%.
I mean, I know and acknowledge that those people are out there and things need to be done to stop them. But I just, you know, if I'm going to go to bed, I don't want to watch that right before bed.
That's fair.
So
that's
it's
what
not that I don't care.
I haven't. That's all I've really watched lately.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally did watch Doctor Strange.
Okay.
Multiverse. And it was fine.
It was. It really does, I think, show how Sam Raimi Sam Raimi and Robert Rodriguez, I don't think are the caliber of filmmaker that we may think they are, because Rodriguez's stint on Book of Boba Fett looked not written or anything, but it looked very amateurish, very cheaply done set. And I thought that Sam Raimi is he lacks finesse behind the camera for like moves and shot setups, and I know a lot of the special effects stuff is probably the special effects house doing that stuff, but the human stuff is kind of like, I'm not saying that Raimi's doesn't make, you know, classic movies, but
he made classic movies. I would say that he makes classic movies.
But I don't see either of them growing the way a Peter Jackson did, for instance.
Nope, I agree. Or, James Gunn is the other good example.
Absolutely.
Like he's grown into the big budget filmmaker.
Yeah, he understands the size, the scope of the project. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could say that with Raimi, because Raimi's Spider-Man movies, at least, you know, the first two are super solid, but it's also it's a different world.
But if you go back and watch them, they feel cheap
in
when
comparison.
You look
for sure,
at them.
Yeah.
They're still great. They're still, Spider-Man 2 is still one of my favorites. So
yeah, it's excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into our Patreon picks for this week. I think we got to start with the certified classic, right?
Yes.
Let's take a look at this trailer, see what's in this trailer here. For a silent movie, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess I could just turn that down because, again, it's a silent film.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Nosferatu 1922 is our first 100-year.
Yeah.
It's our first 100-year-old film.
Yeah.
Nosferatu, also Symphony de Graunians. Symphony of Terror. Is that like one of the other kind of like AKAs or
I think
like
so,
subtitles for it? Starring Max Schreck as Graf Orlok. Also Graf Orlok, if you like power violence. Sick band.
Also,
what?
if you like Batman, Max Schreck from Batman Returns.
Oh, yeah.
That's who Christopher Walken's character was named after.
Alexander Grenache, Gustav von Weigenheim, and Greta Schroeder are your main stars. Nosferatu is notable for a number of things. Not only did it kind of set the standard for horror films to come after it, featured many classic performances, and it's Max Schreck's performance of Orlok that's the best known one, but I feel like Gustav von Wagenheim's Hutter is also a very strong character, and even the Ellen character is quite strong too. But it's the blueprint for the horror film. It's not the first horror film. It's not, but it also is the first real Dracula film. It's the first modern telling of a vampire story. We also got vampires not being able to be in the sunlight from this film.
Yes.
It was people like, people talk about, that's a vampire thing. No, that's actually a movie thing. That is from Nosferatu. It was the first, because even if you go back to reading the original Dracula, there is not.
I blamed bad luck for everything until
Uh, there's not a they can't be in sunlight. They don't
Right.
like it
Right.
because scary things don't happen in sunlight.
Right.
So that's part of it. But Nosferatu was the film that gave us the allergy or the trope of vampires not coming out into sunlight.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
The story of Nosferatu, in terms of what the film is about, is it's Dracula. It's not. I mean, to the point where when they made it, they knew that they were going to get sued, so they attempted to change as many things as they could, hoping that they wouldn't, but they did.
Yeah. What'd they change? Nothing.
Names.
Names.
They changed names. They changed names. That's it.
Yeah, there is actually a bunch of stuff here, like that's not in the Dracula movie. He has fangs. He has little rat fangs on the front, and Karloff didn't have. He didn't have fangs. He just had normal mouth. They also from the book made him much more handsome in Dracula. He's supposed to be kind of a gross, corpse, and here he is. He doesn't have he has the big bushy eyebrows, but the thing they changed was they dropped the beard. Gotcha. It's different. No, it's not.
What's up, dog?
It's not gonna work. Do you know why that's not gonna work? Because I have two children that do that constantly to me. Yeah. All the time. Rip thinks she's going to get me. That's her favorite show.
That's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is.
You
So
want to talk about good vampire stuff.
So that's what we've been doing. It's like nice. We've watched a few vampire ones because I'm like, all right, look, we have to watch Fright Night because that's the house from What We Do in the Shadows is a rundown Jerry Dandridge's kind of house. I said, so, and then you got to learn all the different kinds. You got your Karloff, you got your Near Dark, you got all these different, and the rising up out of the crypt into a standing position, like there's a hinge on your feet. That's from this movie. Mm-hmm. That's the Nosferatu. And Peter from the original movie is just a straight up Nosferatu, the oldest vampire they know. So like, What We Do in the Shadows may seem like just a stupid riff, but they really do. They really do go with the lore, and they trust in that for their rules, which is nice. Anyway, this movie.
This movie's great. What are you talking about?
This movie,
Nosferatu, it's a classic. I mean, it's absolutely a classic for what
it is.
Is it a perfect film to watch? No, absolutely not. But like,
it's
for what
boring
it is,
as fuck.
Yeah, and here's the funny thing is, Max Schreck's Graf Orlok is considered, like the first real horror villain icon of time, at least in the film world. He's on screen for like 9 or 10 minutes.
That's what kills me about all these. Remember when it's like, oh my god, Godzilla's in the movie for like 13 minutes total. Yeah, Darth Vader was on screen for 12 minutes. Or what's this? Dracula's on screen for so many. Like, how's that a problem? Is he effective in the time he's on screen? That's what matters, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so you have the character of Hutter. He's a real estate guy. He is traveling to Graf Orlok's castle.
I'm sorry. Let's change as much as we can, but we'll only do like the 3 middle letters of this name. Let's change Harker to Hutter.
Yeah, so he goes to Orlok's castle in a cool traveling, very classic traveling scene for, a 100-year-old film.
Yeah.
The locals are like, don't go there. And he's like, I'm going to go. And
yeah, you can't stop me eating that.
And so he goes there, and Orlok is creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
He's still very creepy. It is without a doubt one of the most lasting icons.
Yeah.
In the horror world for a good reason.
He's got an amazing silhouette, like instantly recognizable. Him, the Golem, and Maria, I think, are the 3 earliest, because Metropolis was like 5 years after this.
Yeah,
and I think the Golem was before this, but still, like the beginnings of horror definitely were this, and it's a great start. It's absolutely amazing, the design of him.
Yeah, so he tries. So Orlok's gonna buy like a rundown warehouse or something next door to where Hutter lives.
Oh my God!
Like,
how dumb is this plan? Oh, hey, this dude wants to buy up a whole lot of land. Let's screw him. Let's sell him the house across the street from you.
yeah.
What?
They're like burned out. Like
What? It's literally across the street from where they work and where they live.
that one. We'll sell him that one. Well, back then there was only like 3 buildings, so
That's
there wasn't
true.
a lot of
That's
options.
true. There were no windows, I noticed on this too.
Oh, there was spot for them. There was just no glass.
Yeah. There were apertures.
Yes, exactly. So he goes to the castle. Orlok bites him. Orlok takes the boat ride to where they're back to the home. Do I really need to go recount what the story is, guys? Like, if you're a listener to the show, I'm sure you've seen some form of a Dracula movie at this point. We need to talk why this one is different, and also why it's lasting. We've already touched on it a little bit. Singularly, the number one reason why this film is so important and why it is different than the others is the Graf Orlok, Max Schreck character. He, I mean, it's iconic in every way, shape, or form.
Yeah, 100%.
The way he walks, the way he moves. You had already mentioned the silhouette. That famous scene of when he like pops up on the boat deck.
Yeah,
and he's got the white background and he's stark on it, and it's just it's still as effective today watching it as it was 100 years ago when it was made. I actually was thinking about this as I was watching it, and I was like, this is still certifiably creepy, like the way that it's presented, and I can't even imagine what people thought when they saw this in 1922.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
it must have been terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. And then
Yeah.
when I was doing a little bit of research and read about how it was banned in many places
Yeah.
because of how scary it was.
Yeah.
And they went and they destroyed the negatives and like
Yeah.
well the negatives being destroyed, a lot of that had to do with the Bram Stoker
Oh, the lawsuit. Yes.
Yeah,
The
so basically
rightfully brought
absolutely,
lawsuit.
100%. So essentially what happened was Bram Stoker had already died at that point. But the family or the whoever
the
represented
estate, I think,
the
is what
estate,
they call
that's
it.
the
right?
word I wanted to use. The estate filed lawsuit. They tried to not by changing the names, and it was very unsuccessful because they were it's still the same fucking movie.
No,
Same
his
story,
name's
dude.
Barth Dater. It's
Barth
different.
Dater.
It's totally different.
You know your boy Buke Sky Rancher.
Luke Ground Runner.
So
Han Duo.
the Stoker people won, and they basically wanted all the prints and negatives destroyed.
Let's add obviously to the end
and it
of
was
that.
I believe it was Bram Stoker's widow who actually was the one that headed the case up. And of course, all of the negatives didn't get destroyed.
No,
a large chunk of them were.
Yes.
But there had been a number of different changes made. They, I know that they did a thing where they, what was it? They took the subtitles, because it's a German film originally, right?
Yes.
So they took the subtitles and subtitled it in French, I think, first, and then translated the French subtitles back to the U.S., but then all of the German prints were destroyed.
Right.
So they needed to go and put new subtitles back in, and so they translated from the U.S. ones, which are now 3 generations past what the original dialogue was, and nobody knew what the original dialogue was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's never been a version that's come up with the original
Right.
I say dialogue, but it's a silent film.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, and we should say, not yet, because you never know.
Not yet. You never know. That is true. What's the other one that they're always hoping they're going to find? No, not the Phantom Carriage. The other horror movie that's got there's maybe 10 minutes of available of it, and it's the everyone right now is screaming at their their iPod or their iPod. What year is it till? 2022.
It's
Screaming at their
1922.
Why can't I think of it? I can't. It's that famous image. Shit.
Of what?
I can't remember now.
Oh. Well, talk about something else. You'll remember.
I don't know if I will. Not the Crimson Ghost, right?
No, I think you could get that anyway. So here's 10 lost horror movies you can't watch. Here's a list. The Blind Bargain.
Nope.
The fuck is number 2? Oh fuck! I'm not. Never mind. I'm not clicking through a fucking slideshow.
I fucking hate slideshow ones.
I refuse to do it. Absolutely refuse. All right. This is Lost Media Files, top 30 lost horror films. 28, Event Horizon?
What?
Come on. Let's see, In the Mind of the Damned. I don't know.
No, we're going to figure this out, man.
Greed? An 8-hour cut of a movie called Greed.
No, I'm not.
Filmed in 1924. Wow. London After Midnight. What? Come on. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. London After Midnight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
With the top hat, mouthful of fangs dude.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was Lost.
I thought it is.
Oh.
Hang
Okay.
on. I think it is. Pretty sure it is.
But a professor investigating the son of a rich man while the neighbor is a lone witness. Okay.
Stupid. I just had it a second ago. I just lost it.
Lost what?
The article I had about it that explained what the deal was with it.
It says in 2002, a man named Rich Schmidlin reconstructed the entire film by using over 200 shots and a surviving script to premiere at Turner Classic Movies on August 15th, and it's included on the Lon Chaney DVD set, but the original film is lost likely forever.
Yeah, because it's Todd Browning.
Yes.
London After Midnight is the most famous of lost horror films, mainly due to the fact that it was directed by Todd Browning, who also directed Dracula, and it starred Lon Chaney in one of the most iconic makeup jobs ever.
Yeah.
It was also highly successful in the box office, becoming the 10th highest-grossing film of 1927. The film was so successful that Todd Browning even went on to remake the film in 1935 as Mark of the Vampire with Bela Lugosi.
Oh.
However, the last copy of London After Midnight was struck by tragedy as it was claimed in a 1965 MGM vault fire. That burned away the last copy of A Blind Bargain as well. To this day, many posters, plays, and productions still survive. That wasn't enough for some people, however, and due to the film's popularity and iconic status, Turner Classic Movies made a valiant attempt at restoring London After Midnight using the surviving stills and remaking the titles. The reconstruction lasts 45 minutes. It was released on that Lon Chaney DVD that you mentioned in the other article. So that was the one. It's just because it's got that iconic role of the top hat. So anyway, so the original unfiltered, untouched version of Nosferatu at this point is long gone and not found.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you're a little bit more of a vampire guy than me because you did have a leather duster. And you also had fangs. You had store-bought, not store-bought, custom-made porcelain fangs.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. I worked in a haunted house. And
but
I wore them there.
You wore them when we worked at Blockbuster.
It was October, and I wanted to get my money's. I wanted to get my money's worth out of them. I don't know where they are.
Dude, it's okay.
I can't find them. They were really nice.
I would hope that you can't find them. It was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but
you don't want to still be sticking those in your mouth in 20 years.
I could clean them.
I'm sure that are much cheaper.
I always washed them.
It's okay to say that it was cool.
We actually went to a dude in like Braintree who used dental acrylic or whatever it's called to mold them right to your teeth so they click right on.
Yeah,
it was pretty nice. I figured, you know what? I'm making a haunted house money. Why not?
So my point being, though,
I do a lot of things that I'm like, that looks cool. Let me try that. And then
20 years down the road, you're like, maybe it wasn't the best decision.
No, I'm like, all right, I tried it. It's fine. I'm good. Like, my eyebrows, I don't put any earrings in my ears or eyebrows in a while. Not going to do the eyebrows anymore, but maybe the ears. But, it's like I did it. I had it at the time I wanted to have it, and it's fine.
Yeah, I took my ears out when I got married and never really put them back in. So
I think
I had big ears too. I was up to 00 gauges in my ears.
I think one of the jobs I worked at was like, hey, you can't wear earrings because you're a dude. And I'm like, fuck you. And then I took them out. It's a stupid rule. It always says.
I was like, fuck you, when I was in the bathroom 3.5 hours later.
Yes.
After taking them out.
Yeah, because I need a job. So I'm not going to. It's fine, whatever.
The point of that whole line, though, with the making fun of your duster. Not really making fun of it, but making.
Oh, yeah, about vampires.
You've always been more into like vampire and vampire lore than me.
Yeah.
So, looking at Nosferatu and its historical relevance, is it something did you watch it early on, or did you?
I think I've seen it maybe 4 times, but then again, we're talking 4 different versions of it. I think. Right. Because isn't there one where Philip Glass does the music, and there's
one where Typo Negative does the music.
Yeah,
really
that
good.
one I haven't seen, but I like Pete Steele, so I want to give
it
that
a red
shot.
tint and stuff too. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, I was thinking about this last night because I do actually think about like what I'm gonna say about movies sometimes, and I was always drawn to vampires over all the other monsters. Like when it's the question of like, would you want to be a werewolf or a vampire? It's like, well, always vampire, because vampires are in control of what's going on. Werewolves and mummies are controlled by curses, and creatures just want to live in the water and have nobody bother them. So I kind of identify with that. But vampires like retain their intelligence and their autonomy, unlike zombies and werewolves. So I was always drawn to that, which is why I prefer the vampire movies. Although we did get to a point with vampire movies where I kind of fell away, and it's after Near Dark where vampires started getting a little Euro trashy. I like the main character in Underworld, but I do not like that vampire world.
I agree with that. I really like the Underworld movies too. And like, I love the ideas that they're bringing. The execution past the first film, I think is just bad.
If they had kept going with what essentially symbolically is class warfare between the monsters, I would have been great with that, because clearly the werewolves have always been blue collar workers. Yeah. And vampires are the elite because they're immortal and they can gather the money. I like that. That's a good idea. Even in What We Do in the Shadows, there's they have their fancy vampire outfits from the Victorian ages, and the werewolves are in comfy breakaway clothes for when they change. So it's never. I always say I hated werewolves. I don't hate werewolves. I just would never want to be one.
I love me some werewolf stuff.
I realized after all the werewolf movies we've done, I like werewolves, but if I had a choice, if it was like Pokemon, pick a monster you want to be. Definitely not the creature, because people seem to want to come after him for no reason.
That's fair.
I could be a vampire and probably not get caught for a good, 5 years, then I run away. I'd start over again.
All right.
Yeah.
So, where does the Graf Orlok character, you think, fall in the pantheon of like vampires? Like,
personally, I like him more as a character than Bela Lugosi's Dracula, because he's more feral. He definitely looks like somebody you shouldn't trust. But I think part of this story is also talking about greed, and some idiots will overlook their personal safety for money, because that's what these dummies were doing. Hey, let's invite this guy we don't know to live next to us. Yes, smart. But Orlok is just so instantly recognizable. I love that design. Anybody that brings that into a movie now, I will stop and take a look and be like, oh, maybe they actually know some stuff about vampires.
For sure.
And let me just say this and get it done with, all right? Twilight started as Harry Potter fan fiction, right?
No.
I thought it did.
No.
50 Shades of Grey
started as Twilight fan fiction.
Oh, but I thought okay. Anyway,
Nope, definitely not. Very wrong. Apologize.
Everybody, I don't care about that. Everybody has their own favorite kind of vampires. Some people might like Frank Langella as or Christopher Lee or whoever. And there are definitely people whose time in their lives were right for Robert Pattinson as a vampire, and that's fine. Whatever. You know what? It got kids reading. That's important, right?
Sure.
I mean,
but it wasn't kids that were reading Twilight.
I know, but I really,
it was Lonely Housewives.
I know. I really don't want to shit on people reading, is what I'm saying.
No, I hear you. Anyone, I don't read, so what do I know?
But it did get people interested in vampires, and I watched True Blood for a few seasons, and then when everything turned magical, I was like, all right, I'm good.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because I was going through HBO Max the other day.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, I never finished True Blood. I'm like,
yeah.
Then I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I don't know if I know anyone that finished True Blood.
Yeah, I don't. I couldn't tell you either.
Yeah, somewhere around season 3, they started introducing like there was fairies.
Yes,
and
Suki
like,
was a fairy, half fairy.
All this stuff started getting introduced, and like by the time you got to the end of the 3rd season, it was like Monsters a Go-Go or like and it was so far from what it originally was supposed to be.
Yep.
And I remember just being like, yeah, I think I am off the train.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I stopped the season after Evan Rachel Wood was on.
Yeah, I remember seeing her. Yep, I remember seeing her.
Yeah. There were some great performances.
It was cool for the first 2 seasons. I thought were excellent.
When it was violent and full of sex and unexpected vampire gore, it was great. And then it got, I don't know. It starts off one thing, ends something else, and it's like, yeah. But this is a classic. I mean, it's another thing I have to bring up is they filmed this on location. Wherever the hell this was. I looked it up. I forget. But it was
Romania.
Yeah, it was filmed in real places. And that sets it apart from Dracula as well. Because
all of those real places are still there.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of that stuff is still standing.
Yeah. So it's like, it feels like his. It doesn't feel like, because I watched it with the kids, and I'm like, all right, listen, this is 1922. It's a silent movie. There's music over it. There's cards that'll show you the dialogue. Makeup and acting was overdone because that's how they did it on stage shows, and probably the film and the camera wasn't that great, so they had to overdo it. And there were some scenes that were like, holy shit, is this a carnival sideshow?
Right, yeah.
Because they really overdid it. And I have to say, after watching this objectively, Eddie Izzard is probably the best choice to play the main guy there. The normal human, Harker's character, right? Harker, hiker, hipster.
You can keep saying it, but I already told you what the answer was.
Oh, when I'm talking, something closes up in my ears. Don't hear anything. So, was it Harrer?
Buttercup.
Harrer, Harker, Hammond.
Hutter.
God, I never would have got that.
Well, you should have, because I said it 3 times already.
I told you I don't listen. Now I forgot my point.
Eddie Izzard should play Hutter.
Oh no, he was the perfect choice because he understood what he needed to do, and I think in Shadow of the Vampire, he was perfect. He wore that outfit like he owned it. Yeah. It was just great. It was absolutely great. I don't know. I don't know what more we can say about this. It's the exact same story as Dracula, but different.
I mean, we could say this. I mean, we could say a lot about it, but that's not the show that we do. So, so Chris, do you recommend and what's your grade for Nosferatu?
Okay, so I don't know if I can recommend it as, 100 years later as an entertaining movie. Because we've seen it. We've all seen it at least a dozen times already as different movies. But what I can say is, look at all the shit that these people did this early on in movie making. We had fast motion. Remember to show him loading up his cart? They undercrank the camera to make him go faster when he's loading his coffin up. And there was some stop motion stuff thrown in there when the lid of the coffin magically moves to cover him up. And there was some really interesting, innovative stuff. And I think more than just an awesome character design and locations come from this. I think there's a lot of tricks and ideas that were brought to the table that were great. So from a film history standpoint, I absolutely recommend it. But it's a little long. I thought it was actually about 65 minutes, and it's like 82. Is that right?
I think it's even longer. I think it's even longer than that.
Something like that, yeah. So it did feel like it was dragging, but then Orlok would show up, and it's like, oh, how creepy is he going to be this time? So it's a
1 hour. Well, okay, so again.
Oh, different versions, right?
Different versions are different times. So we have a version that's 1 hour and 34 minutes. We have a version that's an hour and 25 minutes. There is an hour and 5 minute version.
Oh, okay. That might have been the first one I watched.
With an hour and 32 minutes version.
Okay, I think I did the 125. Is that what you said? There's a 125?
So 125, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the one I did.
I watched the version that was on Shudder.
Oh,
which is the Kino Lorber one.
Okay, I didn't know it was on Shudder, so I didn't watch that. I have it. So.
Well, it's public domain, so it's like everywhere.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's on like 20 different streaming services. But the version that's on Shudder is the Kino Lorber. I believe the Blu-ray, the version they did for the Blu-ray.
Okay.
There was a 4K upscale.
Oh, nice.
Or a 4K scan or whatever.
That's one that really needs. It could really use somebody sitting down frame by frame, and just restoring it digitally so you can have a nice, clean version of it.
I mean, the version on Shudder is pretty good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out because I don't have anything to compare what I watched to. So, but yeah, and so for a grade, I think the fact that it's 100 years old and we're like, holy shit, that is a scary fucking dude. Just honestly, character design, makeup alone makes it an instant classic. I'm gonna give it an A, just because it's persevered this long. I think it deserves it.
Yeah, I'm really right there with you, man. So like, my recommend is like, I'm recommending it because it's literally like a pillar of like the base for horror films. But with that said, and I think this is not any of our listeners or any of our friends. Like, know what you're gonna get into. You're watching a movie from 1922.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like a fly-by-night horror fan that only cares about whatever paint-by-number slashers out in the theaters this weekend, you're not gonna be able to hang with this.
No,
Just
you'd be
because
skipping
it's
to the
gonna
parts
seem-
where he shows up.
Yeah, and he only shows up for 9 minutes, so you're not gonna watch a whole lot of it.
Right.
So if you're that type of horror fan that only cares about the blood and guts and whatever is going on at the moment, then you're not gonna.
So what you're saying is this is not a movie for Glenn Danzig to watch.
See, now I think that Glenn Danzig, though, he has. This is an interesting conversation. I think as much as Glenn Danzig wants blood and guts and boobs, I do believe that he has a true love and respect for cinema.
Okay, that's fair.
I'll
give you that.
Does not know how to make it.
Okay, yeah. No, there are definitely people out there like that, yeah.
For sure.
That's fair.
For sure.
That's fair. I'll shit
So,
on Kiss next time instead of Danzig.
You shit all over them all you want. We would never use backing tracks. Fast forward 4 years. So, yeah, highly recommend it if you are any type of horror fan or movie fan that can hang with something, that's a silent film. I think for what it is, it still looks fucking incredible. And if you look at it in the mindset of like, they accomplished this in 1922, it's still pretty impressive when you think of it that way. Yeah. If you just got finished watching the most recent Marvel movie, and that's what like you think is good cinema, not that that's bad cinema, but like if you're like that's your benchmark for like a film, like you're not going to understand why this is important and why this is so good.
Yeah.
Because it really is good. It's well written. Obviously, it comes from one of the most classic stories of all time. I love that.
Yeah. It's good, but not in the way that Empire Strikes Back is good.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It's not. It's important,
yeah.
is what I think the better way to look at it. And like, I really love it because I know how important it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's parts that are boring. There's parts that are slow. There's stuff that looks super, super fucking hokey, man.
Yeah.
But like, it was 1922. You can't shit on it for that. Like half of the shit that you see in movies, 99% of the stuff that you see in movies and that's used in movies now wasn't fucking invented when this movie made.
Yeah.
It didn't exist.
Yeah.
It didn't even exist. So you can't hold it against the movie. I think it's brilliant still to this day in 2022, 100 years after it's released. It gets an A. Plain and simple. But the next question is, Chris, does Almost Human get an A?
Wow, you can't even get through the introduction.
No, I don't think I can. I don't know if do I have a trailer for this? I might.
Listen, there's only one thing that counts. Either you got loads of cash and you're someone cool, or you don't have no place to pee.
Let's hope for your daughter, because the kidnappers, they're gonna ask for ransom.
Does half of 1 billion lira have a meaning for your feeble mind? Kneel down, I said! You too, honey, kneel down! Oh! All I did was kill 2 women, 3 men, and a kid.
Sense of humor you got.
You can sit on this and see how you like it.
After Hurricane Katrina.
It's funny, man. Almost Human, Milano Odia, La Polizia Non Può Spare. Directed by Umberto Lenzi, written by Ernesto Gastaldi, who wrote all of the Italian films from this time period. Also, it's got a score by the one and only Ennio Morricone. All right, so we have spam risk calling my phone. Tomas Milian, who I am now convinced was basically the basis for Liam Gallagher's entire look in life, because he looks like the best William Gallagher impersonator ever in this film, with the little round sunglasses and the shaggy hair. Tomas Milian, Henry Silva, Laura Bailey, and Anita Strindberg are the names that you're gonna know. You'll recognize a number of the other people in this, though, if you watch Italian films at any regular basis. So, unlike a lot of other Polizia movies, this one's got a little bit more story going on. You got Giulio Sacchi. He is a low-level, or what is at least presented as like a low-level crime figure, because he gets beat up by the members of the higher-level mob because he does stupid things. But he wants to basically be the man. Problem is, he's a little crazy.
Crazy is stupid.
Crazy and stupid, both of those. So he kills a cop during a robbery when he's supposed to just be the driver. He's not supposed to be doing anything else. He's just supposed to be the driver. Cop comes up and is like, "Hey, bro, you got to move your car." and he's just like, bang, guys, we gotta go. The police are here.
Killing a cop while you're the getaway driver is like shitting your pants while you're taking a shower.
Seriously.
Nobody knows how you did it, but good for you. You managed it somehow.
Somehow it happened.
Yeah.
Somehow it happened. So he gets beat up by the crime bosses, and he's sick of being. It's that classic story of, he's sick of being overlooked. He's like, I need to find a way to get money. So his girlfriend is played by Anita Strindberg. He knows she works at a business of some sort. It's never actually really said, and that the boss has a lot of money. The boss has a daughter that's in her early 20s, or she looks like she's in her early 20s. I don't think it's ever actually said. And he's gonna kidnap. Kidnap the daughter, hold her for ransom.
Sure.
He gathers together his band of merry crime folks.
Merry misfit morons.
Yeah. And they go and they do this kidnapping. But throughout all of this, Million's character is just like, he kills another cop at a cigarette machine for no reason. Or not for no reason, but for like the simplest of reasons.
He's got some reason. Doesn't make sense, but whatever.
There's some reason. Yeah, there's some reasons there. What else does he do?
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How is it through the 80s and 90s we grew up thinking that Italians were the smartest, suavest motherfuckers out there? And then we watch all these movies and it's like they're portrayed as the dumbest dipshits I've ever seen. What a bait and switch we have. Which is real?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was Rocky. Rocky's the one that confused the whole thing. Right? Stallone was the Italian that came in and messed everything up for all these, or helped them out a whole lot. Now we think they can solve crimes and rob banks without killing, well, not without killing people. Just don't bring a getaway driver.
So, as we said, this is directed by Umberto Lenzi, who is probably best known as the director of Cannibal Ferox. He did a number of less than stellar giallis and a number of Polizia flicks.
Yeah,
that are fine. Almost Human, and I know exactly what you're going to say as soon as I say this, is considered to be his like Polizia masterpiece.
That's why you don't remember his name.
There it is. But with that said, Milian and Henry Silva are fucking legends of Italian cinema.
They are.
Having them here is all the way gonna make it better. Milian portraying Giulio is like, he's so fucking unhinged and he's so like out of control. It's just fucking ridiculous.
He's just manic. He's like beyond. Like, no one would want him as their boss.
Or friend.
Yeah, oh, you think you can do better? Dude, here's some Xanax. Like, go take a week. Relax a little bit, then come back and we'll talk. Like, fuck.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking care about anybody. He just cares about himself.
Yeah.
So they kidnap this girl, and they're going to hold her for ransom. And of course, nothing ever goes the way it's supposed to. They think it's going well. It's not. It's going very bad.
Yeah, it's never going well.
But Henry Silva plays Walter, the police, the police detective or sergeant or whatever. And Silva's always great when he shows up in these things because he doesn't need to be on screen a lot, and he's not on screen a lot in this. But like when he shows up, you're like, oh, fucking Henry Silva's here. Like,
yeah.
Shit's gonna get done.
His direction from the writers and from the writer and director must have been, I need you to deliver every line like it's gonna make it into the trailer.
Yeah.
Because, holy shit, does he deliver those lines with just like world-ending importance?
Mm-hmm.
He's so over the top, and I'm not complaining.
Hard as fucking nails.
Yeah.
I read a couple of reviews of this, and they were like, this is like the Italian Dirty Harry.
Come on, really?
Yeah.
It doesn't
like,
focus on the cop.
Yeah, no. So I'm like, Silva's not in it nearly enough to be that, but he's got that type of hard-nosed "fuck you" attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
My favorite part though with this is when so they got Giulio and they bring him in a couple of different times with the cops, and they just can't seem to, like, they know this dude's done it, but, like, them trying to, like, take apart his alibi, they're just like, so, what time you were there? And he's like, I don't know. So they interview the guy. He's like, oh, I was playing poker. What the fuck? He's like, I was at the place playing poker. So, like, all right, let's go to the poker place, which is just a bar. And then they go like, so they're like, when was he here playing poker? And the guy goes, I don't know, Julio. What time were you here playing poker? He's like, I don't know, about 9. He's like, he was here about 9 o'clock. And I'm like, why are you interviewing this guy with the suspect there? Like,
yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And Milian is just so fucking unhinged.
Yeah.
He's just so unhinged. He kills his girlfriend, really for no reason. Like.
Well, it's because the script needed him to do something.
It did. So Anita Strindberg plays his girlfriend, and she's like, for whatever reason, she's like, I am here to help you, Julio, and like, I don't know why. And Julio steals her car out of the parking lot of her work. Like, she gets out of work and she's with her friend. She's like, oh yeah, let me just show you something from the car or whatever. And she's like, my car's gone. And the lady's like, should you call the police? And she's like, no, my boyfriend probably took it. And she's like, should you still call the police? She's like, no, it's fine. So then he shows back up with the car. And she's like, man, you kind of screwed me over there and took the car. And he's like, babe, it's fine. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, he goes, I needed to borrow the car so I could kill 3 people.
Yeah, that was a weird
like,
conversation.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking. And then she's got the newspaper, and he won't let her look at the newspaper because the front page of the newspaper is like 5 people killed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he drives her to the edge of a cliff, like in the middle of nowhere. And they're in the car, and he's like, all right, now you can read the newspaper. And she's like, oh, my God, you weren't kidding. You really killed these people. And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, so do you want to have sex? And she's like, no, not really. And he's like, all right, cool. And he gets out of the car, and he just puts the foot down on the gas, and it spins out and drives off the cliff with her in the car.
That's right.
And I'm like,
that's right.
You just killed like the most interesting character in the movie. Like,
yeah, it's really weird in these Italian movies because they try to make the main character like aloof and against, authority and all that, and they just take it either too far or not enough. I don't know, and they just end up being assholes that you don't give a shit about, and that really makes it difficult to, like, who am I rooting for? The cop that's an asshole or the main character that's an asshole?
Yeah, my whole thing wasn't so much that I was rooting for anyone. I just wanted someone to catch this guy before he killed anybody else.
Yeah.
Because, like, he's just killing people at random. Like, he's killing the people that work with him. Spoiler alert, he kills the girl that he kidnapped, and, like, I'm like, what is happening here? Why did somebody stop this fucking guy?
Yeah.
But the best part is after he kills the girlfriend, he shows up at the police station, and he's like, oh, I don't know where my girlfriend is. I can't get in touch with her. And they're like looking at him, and they're like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what's happening. Why are you looking at me like that?
Yeah.
You're fucking insane.
Yeah. So,
you're right though. It's super mean spirited. Like, there's no like redeeming anything in this.
Yeah. Like, I can't even get on the cop's side for like, oh well, he's a murderer, so clearly, because the cops don't seem to give a shit. That's one of my huge complaints with I know in real life that's kind of how it is. Like, oh, hey, there's a murderer running around. I'm going to go play pickup basketball with my son with a mustache, right? It's like, I get it. You have other things in your life to do, but like 90% of what the cop does shouldn't be the other things that we're watching.
Well, and I think one of the mistakes this movie makes is that it's not about, or for Henry Silva's character, it's not about finding and saving the girl. It's about sticking it to Milian's character.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was like, I mean, you should be a little more concerned about saving the girl.
Right. It's kind of,
and then when they find out she died, like, he didn't even care. No. Like, they're like, oh, the girl's dead. He's like, all right, well, we got to find him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's where the issue was. And the girl that was the kid that was kidnapped, like she was good. She played the the part well in terms of like you felt bad and you were worried about her because you knew like, well, this guy's gonna fucking kill her. So
Yep.
Crazy. And the best part of the whole thing is Milian thinks that he's gotten away with it. And rather than be smart, he goes out and just starts spending all the money and is at a cafe and he's like whining and dining. He's dressed in really nice clothes. And of course Henry Silva shows up and he's like, "Sup, dude?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "Yeah, you can't do anything to me in public." And then he pulls a gun on Henry Silva and it's like, well, now he can shoot you.
Right.
So you just gave him the opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The sweet mercy
Chris,
of the horn.
Do you recommend, and what is your grade
No.
for Almost Human?
No, I don't recommend this. Honestly, I think that, and it could be sacrilegious on the show, but I think that Belizia movies are kind of garbage.
Interesting.
I thought that initially about Giallos because you really showed me the wrong one to start with, but
I started you in the wrong place.
that's true. But I gave it a shot. But I've watched a lot of these, and I'll never forget the one where the guy's with the woman and the woman's being targeted. So they drive to this beautiful mountain valley chalet, and they're like, "Well, we'll just hang out here for a little bit," but they know where we are. Yeah, we'll be fine. Have some J&B. And it's like, what? Have some urgency for your lives. That's the thing, is like no cop is like, well, we probably should hurry up and do this. But also they overcomplicate the plots. The characters are cartoonish half the time, and it's I don't know. It's not my thing. It's not my thing. I found the characters in this to be grating and trying too hard.
All right.
So I'm gonna give it a C-.
C minus.
It's-
and you don't recommend.
It's a harsh criticism, I know, but it's not a terrible grade because it kept my interest. But in the end, I'm like, this really didn't tell me any kind of story.
All right. All right. Fuck all that. I highly recommend this. I love this movie. I thought this was great.
I don't get it, but that's
I
fair.
had never
but
seen
that's
it.
fair.
I had never seen it, and I you know me, I'm a sucker for Italian stuff in
Yes.
general. So, but this I really honestly believe is one of the better Polizia movies I've seen since like High Crime or like Heroin Busters or any of those.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with this. I thought Milian's character, I thought he was fucking incredible. Like he just on another level psychopath. It was fucking great. And Silva just fucking brilliant as a detective. Fucking he's like Skeletor come to life. Like it's ridiculous. The way he looks.
Yeah.
Like if Skeletor was what like had painted his face like flesh color, that's what they would look like Henry Silva.
Interesting.
And no, I thought it was great. It didn't go on too long. It was short enough that it didn't meander. There was no points where it really slowed down either. It was just like point to point to point to point. Man, O'Million shows up at the fucking police station. He's like, I can't find my girlfriend. And he's like, I don't know what to do. And he's like crying, but he's like kind of doing that like no one's going to see me do this other than you. But he's like, I don't know what to do. And he like looked up at the guy being like, is he buying it? Like, it was fucking great. It was fucking great. And it'd been a while, and I haven't really watched many Italian films recently. So like, it was kind of nice to get back into that deep waters that we tread more than probably most people. So I'm going. I mean, is it perfect? No, it still looks cheap. Some of the dubbing in this is actually quite good. I think some of it, if I'm not mistaken, was filmed in English. So it matches up really, really well. And the dubbing is not a like over the top like comical type dubbing.
That's true. That's
played
true.
Pretty straight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty good that way.
There's also there's one really good car chase scene like on live streets in Italy, like Naples or wherever they filmed.
Yeah, but it's those goofy looking cars that like don't look like they look like they have pedals in them, like
they look
bike
like they're
pedals.
those ones that you'd put it on the thing and you'd pull it backwards and then let go and it would drive
Yeah,
forward.
or you could drive down the ramp and still pedal it like a paddle boat.
It was fun, man. It was fun. So I'm gonna give it a B. I liked it quite a bit. So Howard, I thought Howard picked a good one for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of picking a good one, we have our good friend Joe, and we are making him make his way through the Resident Evil film series. This week, he is doing Resident Evil 2.
Well, hello, Bill. Hello, Chris. And hello, OTC Nation. It's your boy Joe here, and this week Bill took me back to Raccoon City. Except this time it's gone to shit. He made me watch Resident Evil Apocalypse. Well, at least they kept the wrap-up of the first movie short here, because even in the soulless corporate boardroom with the most craven, capitalistic, out-of-touch robo-corpo suits at the helm, they gotta know that nobody is gonna walk into Resident Evil 2 Apocalypse as their starting point into the franchise. If they didn't see it in the theater, they rented it. But I'd bet my house that less than 30 people, since this movie came out, used it as their launch pad for probably mediocre zombie action adventure. I say probably because we all know this entire series is a trope for big, dumb, probably not even that fun summer theater fodder, and I'm trying very, very hard not to walk into any of these movies with prejudice. I will say this, and it bodes well for my potential success at not prejudging these movies. I've watched all of the Evil Bong movies.
Yeah.
If that doesn't say everything that needs saying, I can't help you. After the mercifully short Where We're At So Far montage, we then get a What's Happening Now montage. A lot of montages so far. Umbrella Team does what corporate dipshits do in fixing their fuck up and only cause more fucking up, and now the zombies are loose in Raccoon City.
Yep.
Umbrella gets their high priority employees out of the city ASAP and shoot at the regular civilians just trying to get the fuck out of Dodge. I mean Raccoon. We see Jill Valentine from the games show up, and now I get why fans of the game had like X-Pac heat with this movie. She is less than one-dimensional. She has like superhero-like shooting ability, and her tone of voice is more wooden than the set of shelves I just built into the wall of my garage. Was that a bad analogy? Yes. Am I super proud of the job I did on these shelves? Also yes. She's portrayed here the same way that John Cena was at the height of the Cena Sucks era. She's like a badass scoop of ice cream that everybody forgot to add any sort of flavor to. It seems like they're telling three different stories here. We've got Jill Valentine trying to keep citizens safe. The Middle Eastern dude who fought the mummy and the bully from A Christmas Story are military dudes who are like trapped in the city. And Mila Jovovich doing... Well, I'm still only about a third of the way through the movie and she's barely been in here, but one thing is clear though, this movie was written by a committee instead of a writer or even a team of writers. I guess that's strike one, but at the same time, no matter how bad this might get, let me take you back a few minutes to I watched the whole ass Evil Bong series. I'm fucking bulletproof at this point. Stop me if you've heard this one before. A cop who's been bitten, an ambitious reporter, and Jill Valentine walk into a church.
Yes.
Something.
Motorcycle.
Zombie, I hardly knew be. Anyway, you know that thing where in video games, the male character and the female character have the same like level of armor class? The only difference is that the busty lady elf mage is wearing like a metal bikini that barely covers anything, whereas the studly paladin is wearing like head to toe plate steel. Yeah. That's kind of what we get here with Jill. We literally watch her watching TV and sees that the zombie shit's all breaking loose and her city's all chock-a-block full of zombies, and she gears up. So, like, she knows what she's doing. This isn't like she was going out for a night with her girlfriends and all of a sudden zombie shit happens. No, she knows she's fighting zombies, and she chooses a tube top, knee-high boots, and a miniskirt so short we can see what her religion is.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Huh?
No, that only works for dudes. And only dudes like 50 years ago. But then something magical happens. Mila Jovovich Fuck. Mila Jovovich blasts through the stained glass window of this church like 20 feet up in the air. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure most churches don't have X Games ramps like right outside their windows.
If it's the Holy Church of Evil
like 3
Knievel,
monsters,
they do.
like she's goddamn John Wick all of a sudden. You know what, Resident Evil haters, I get it now. I get you now. I see you. This action sequence was so quick-cut edited, impossibly acted out, and unrealistic to superhero degrees that I honestly can't tell if this movie is making fun of itself or not. Side note, one way you can tell this movie was conceived as a product instead of a film is the main human villain. It was very obviously a character created by executives. He's like a sharp-dressed, authoritative corporate figure because they know at their core that they are the most hated group of people on the planet. So he's a white guy in his early to mid-30s, obvs. But here's the twist. Here's where the corpo executives that created this villain distance themselves from him. He's the worst thing a person can be in a big, dumb, American-made summer blockbuster action film.
Oh, is he a lawyer?
He's foreign.
Oh, no.
Ugh. That way, when he dies, it's doubly satisfying to the audience. Again, while I'm not hating this, because, yet again, evil bong, to Resident Evil haters, I see you. You are valid, my friends. I'm not gonna lie, this movie is definitely so bad it's good. Like, I always harp on here that there has to be intention to make a good movie for a movie to be so bad it's good, and fucking kudos to the makers of this movie. They tried to make a good movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. Okay, it's over. And to be honest, knowing what to expect here, I wasn't disappointed. Like, I knew I was going to get a big, stupid action movie. But there was one thing that was like nails on a chalkboard to me. The Euro trash villain guy. We don't know his... Oh, God. I'm getting angry again just reading this. We don't know his name until near the end of the movie when he calls for a chopper. Listen. Action movies are like over 100 years old. Have a little more goddamn imagination than to name your bad guy Kane.
Oh.
For fuck's sake. Yeah. He's like, did he get a big fake, one of those big fake joke checks that's as big as he is for being like the 1 millionth movie bad guy named Kane? I get why fans of the games hated this movie, and probably every movie going forward. Nobody here gave a single solitary French fried titty fuck about the source material. Yeah. But also, on the other hand, calm down, you fucking nerds. Here's the thing. The good, big dumb fun, and Mila Jovovich again makes this movie dynamically better just by being there. The bad, if they wanted people to take this movie seriously, someone who gave a fuck about it maybe should have been in charge. Maybe, you think? Don't hate me, but I'm going to give Resident Evil Apocalypse a B-. Fuck me, right? Yeah. I'll be back next week with Resident Evil Extinction. Till then, be good, everyone.
Is Extinction the one that takes place in Vegas?
Yeah, the desert one. Yeah. They do bring in.
I remember liking that.
They do bring in some lore with the Crimson Head zombies. They do a little bit. They sprinkle the stuff from the game in, but after the second movie,
that's almost more insulting that they sprinkle it in because they they made it.
Well.
And then they're like, "Oh shit!"
But I mean, if we look at how the whole series goes, right? Romero did a draft. He sat with someone that played the game for him, so he could watch, and he took notes, and he wrote a movie based on what happened in the game. And Capcom's like, "No," and this is what Capcom said yes to because it's based in that world, but it doesn't interfere with the games they're making. I kind of get that. And you know what? These are, I have something else. I have to rename files. So I'm going to put a movie on that I can glance over at every now and then. And I'll do that. But what this movie does that other movies around its time and probably to this day still do. Nemesis was a dude in a suit that was enhanced with CG. But overall, it was a guy in platform Frankenstein boots fighting a 5'6", 90-pound woman. And at least, give him that. They made a monster suit. He was in a decent portion of the movie. At least it followed the Nemesis idea of constantly being on your ass chasing you. but it's not good. I know it's not. I'm fine with that, you know?
I don't think anyone's judging you for it.
No, I mean, I've watched the Resident Evil TV series, which to the new one? Up until the last 1 or 2 episodes, I'm like, this is just garbage. And then they managed to tie into the movie series, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's still bad, but I'm going to watch more of it. And then I actually watched over the weekend Welcome to Raccoon City, and I remember not liking it the first time I watched it. And I didn't hate it the second time around.
All right.
But
cool.
it's not the Resident Evil movie we want. Still.
Nah, you'll never get that movie.
No. Return of the Living Dead is more of a Resident Evil movie than Resident Evil.
Honestly. All right. Speaking of evil things, here comes Scott.
Do you really care if I do an intro this week?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Sounds good to me.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. With Reverend Scott.
Showgirls is like the ultimate cult film.
Yep, I played that again. Hey there, Bill and Chris. This is Reverend Scott, and I just watched a new movie. Should I tell you what it was? Nope, I'm gonna wait, because I wanted to briefly discuss some Patreon picks from the mighty Vishnu first. This week's junk is called Pathfinder and Born of Fire.
There's no junk movies, but that doesn't guarantee that these are any good either.
No.
Well, excuse me all to hell then. So first of all, let's hear a trailer for Pathfinder. Hopefully you didn't screw that up this time.
I will say it right now, I don't have my iPad set up currently, so I don't have any trailer audio or anything, so we'll just kind of have to get right into things when we do, but that's okay because it's one less thing for me to screw up.
Well, you screwed that up. Anyway, tell us about the plot of Pathfinder, Chris.
Oh, shit. What is happening? Is this Conan? Man, that looks cold.
Sounds terrific. I give Conan an A. I give Pathfinder a B-, and I give the review a B-, I guess. Who knows? Well, I do know that the other movie was Born of Fire. Bill, could you tell us what that was about?
A deep dive into the mythology of the jinns, the shaitans, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of information, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't seem too convinced. Chris, could you explain this movie a little better for us?
I end up looking like a Vaseline-coated hot dog.
Really gross.
Yeah.
What? Do either of you know anything about this damn movie? Wasn't there like a master flutist or something?
Do you have a better handle on this than me?
No.
Okay.
No.
Fine, forget it. I'll figure it out later. For now, I give Born of Fire an A because it confused you both a lot. And I give the review a C+ for Confused Plus. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, should I talk about the movie I saw now?
Nope.
Girl, you crazy.
No, that's the movie I watched. Jordan Peele's Nope in your boy IMAX.
All right, I know what's going on now. I got it.
And let me start by saying, if you haven't seen many trailers for this movie, I would try to avoid them at all costs if you're even interested a little bit. There's just a lot more in those trailers than I wanted to know before going into this movie. All I really needed to know was that this was a story about O.J. Haywood, played by Daniel Kaluuya. He helps his dad run a horse farm where they train the horses for Hollywood, named, get this, Haywood Hollywood Horses. After his father dies, his sister Emerald Haywood tries to help him out on the farm, mainly by smoking weed while listening to loud music in the house. A neighboring ranch-style amusement park called Jupiter's Claim, run by Ricky Park, played by Stephen Yeun, has been buying horses from OJ to help keep his company afloat. I mean, like OJ's company, keep it afloat. He's even offered to buy the whole ranch from OJ. Soon you find out that there's something in the sky that's very strange around their farm in Jupiter's Claim Bolt, something that Ricky has been using these horses he's buying for, but it doesn't exactly go to plan for Ricky.
Effective, but it was messy.
Very.
And it was really interesting to see.
OJ and Emerald want to get whatever this is on film, so they get their local Fry's electronics guy to help them out in setting up cameras around their farm. Later on, they even convince a Hollywood cinematographer played by the wonderful Michael Wincock to help them as well. They want that Oprah shot that's going to make them a ton of money and save their farm. But even explaining that doesn't even touch on all the themes and other stories involved in Nope. There's lots of cool mechanics with the loss of all battery and electronic power that's factored in as this thing is flying by in the sky, just creepily and silently over the mountains. There's this cloud that doesn't ever seem to move. There's just so many tense and creepy and disturbing scenes throughout this film. A few that I may never soon forget. This is just as much sci-fi as it is horror and really as it is comedy as well. There's some great acting and a good look into our culture of people willing to exploit other people and things for their own amusement and profit, no matter what the cost may ultimately be.
Once you realize it's a story basically about one guy and how he fucks up but makes good, it's okay.
Nope, I don't think that's what it's about at all. But how about we just grade it?
Well then, do you recommend and what is your grade for Nope?
What's it to you?
I definitely recommend Nope, especially if you've enjoyed Get Out and other Jordan Peele ventures. While they aren't all similar, all of Jordan Peele's films have that similar feel and tone about them. And I look forward to seeing it again sometime soon. I give Nope an A-, and I've thought about it a lot since watching it, and I think it'll stick with you as well. Okay, that's it for this week. What did you think about the segment, Bill?
I definitely didn't dislike this, but I can't necessarily say that I liked it either.
Yeah.
Well, no one asked you. So tune back in next week when maybe I'll start caring about your opinions. But until then, peace and love, guys.
The idea that they're like, oh, well, this guy, the master flautist, is going to play this song, and he's going to bring the end of the world. And I'm like, why doesn't he just do it then? Like, I couldn't figure out why. Like, what was everyone waiting for? They weren't like, it wasn't like a thing where they were like, oh, the planets need to be aligned. It can only be played on the 12th hour of the 12th day of the 12th year. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
like,
love that. Fucking do it.
I'm like, you're going to bring it into the world, but like, what are you waiting for?
Do it! What are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, bad guys would be way more interesting if they just did the plan.
I know, seriously. But movies would be a lot shorter. So thanks for listening, guys. Want to thank Donnie and I want to thank Howard for their picks for this week. I don't know what we're doing yet next week. We'll figure that out soon. Join the Patreon, patreon.com/outsidethecinema. Follow us on social media, at OTCBill and at Cthulhu. We do have a Facebook group, so just go to the groups and then search Outside the Cinema, and it'll show up.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
Cool. So everyone have themselves a good week. We'll be back here again next week with some more reviews. Bye-bye.